Pleased to introduce Jennifer Dane. She is the CEO of Modern Military Association. And I was looking for a fantastic keynote speaker, and I saw that Jennifer posted this on LinkedIn. And I was like, you know what? My friend Michelle Norman was our keynote speaker in the fall, and she's friends with Jennifer. So that right there, I already knew that I had somebody great in mind to come speak to you all. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce her. So if you want to go ahead and unmute yourself, Jennifer, and take yourself off camera, I'll stop my screen share now.
Well, thank you so much, and good afternoon, evening, or whatever time zone you're in. It's just an honor to be with you today. Thank you for MilSpouseFest and Julie for inviting me. And also I wanted to thank USAA for sponsoring not only this event, but they're a wonderful sponsor and partner of our organization as well. But like she said, my name is Jennifer Dane, and I'm the CEO of the Modern Military Association of America. Our organization was founded in 1993, and in various iterations over the years has came together. But in 2019, we became known as the Modern Military Association of America through two powerhouse organizations that were doing very wonderful work called the American Military Partner Association and OutServe SLDN. Today, we stand as the nation's largest organization dedicated to advancing fairness, equality, for the LGBTQ military and veteran community. Through education, advocacy, and support, we make a real difference in the lives of LGBTQ service members, military spouses and partners, veterans, family members, survivors, caregivers, and sometimes most importantly, our allies. I myself am an Air Force veteran, having honorably served from 2010 to 16. And whenever I was asked by Julie to keynote this, I think I was more nervous about it in this position than I have ever been. Even testifying before Congress, I was just really nervous. And so I have to fully disclose and get this out of the way, but imposter syndrome is very real. I am not a military spouse myself. And so being here, it's just really an honor to be here and share with you. I'm here to share with you some takeaways that I found along the journey that may help unite and ignite whatever passion that you have as a military spouse. You may be or you may also be a military member yourself, or a partner, or whatever identity you hold. Because we all know that military spouse or military partner is just one of those identities that we hold. And there's so much more to you besides this identity. So for me, first and foremost, I want to share some of my identities so that you know that where I come from. I'm a partner to an amazing woman. I'm a mother to a parent. I am that one that embarrasses her child, her son, and yells, "Make great choices" out the window when he gets out of the car line, or sings the lyrics to Encanto's "We Don't Talk About Bruno." He shakes his head all the time. I'm also a granddaughter, a daughter, a sister. I'm a veteran. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm a first-generation military member and a first-generation graduate school, college graduate, and college graduate in general. I'm a Book of the Month Club reader. I'm a Pelotoner. And yes, for folks we know that Pelotoners matter, my username is State48AZ. I'm a US citizen. I never get questioned about my citizenship whenever I cross the border. I don't have to go whenever I enter a store or walk down the street or get pulled over. My white privilege shines through because I am a middle-class woman in America. I have never had a child that I have birthed myself, and I never likely will. I am the worst at remembering everything. But I am one of the most ethical and moral leaders you will find. I hold all these identities together, and I just happen to be a woman who is attracted to other women. So I'm saying all that to say is in 2010, I decided that I was done working 3 jobs to simply survive. And I had a deep connection and passion with serving our country through the military. So I raised my right hand and decided to enlist in the world's greatest Air Force. I remember going to the military processing station, or MEPS, as people call it, in Amarillo, Texas, and signing what I felt was my life away. There was one paper, however, that stood out. It said, if I was caught conducting homosexual conduct, I would be discharged under the Uniform Code of Military Justice. What I didn't know at that time was that a policy compromised called Don't Ask, Don't Tell barred open service for lesbian, gay, and bisexual members, and it was signed into law by Bill Clinton in 1993. I never knew that at that time that it would change my life forever. I didn't know sailor Alan Schindler, who was brutally murdered in 1992 by two fellow sailors off the port of Japan because he was exposed himself as being gay. He was beaten so badly that his dental records were needed to identify him. I was also unaware that from World War II until the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell in 2011, that over 114,000 of my fellow service members were discharged dishonorably or other than honorable. Many of those discharges have still not been upgraded today due to systematic failures in implementations. But I decided to join because I knew that it was my duty, and I was capable and I was qualified, and I should be able to serve just like everyone else. So after successfully completing basic training, I went to tech school to be trained as an intelligence analyst. Unfortunately, I was one of the members. Usually there's 1 in 3 female service members that are survivors of military sexual trauma. There's 1 in 12 for male service members. So I decided I decided to be and go the most ethical route as possible because I didn't want it to happen to anyone else. So I reported it and an investigation ensued. And one thing I must make clear at that time, I was a virgin, never having been with anybody in my life, never being with anyone in my life before that. So it was even more traumatic for me. And if you know anything about military justice, whatever journey you're on, or you don't know anything, the military doesn't represent you as a person. I was not Airman Jennifer Dane, survivor. I was the United States Air Force versus him, a fellow airman. Since I served under Don't Ask, Don't Tell, I was unable to tell them that I was a lesbian. However, the defense found out and started questioning me. So I had to seek out an area defense counsel to represent me from another base to ensure that I was not the one who got kicked out because of my perceived homosexual conduct. You see, I was the one that was investigated. The trial was now to get me kicked out for doing the right thing. The perpetrator was found not guilty. Only about 30% of perpetrators are. I wanted to hold him accountable with his actions in the system because of unintended policy consequences and implications. The pain was not in the assault itself, but the system's continuously letting down the margins, which is why I'm here today. After honorably serving the country and ending my service in 2016, I decided that it was my calling, that I want to ensure that when policies are created, that all our voices are heard, actions are taken, we explore all the consequences to decisions. And in 2020, my dreams came true, and I was asked to lead this incredible nonprofit. Our nonprofit does many things, including pro bono legal support, connecting families who are LGBTQ or maybe who have children themselves. We have a plethora of services that we provide. We have 85,000 members. We have, I believe, 2 federal cases in the Supreme Court, or heading to the Supreme Court right now. But in all of that, we've got to stay focused in making sure that all of our military experiences are seen, validated, and heard. So you're probably wondering, what does this all have to do? How does this impact my life, and what can we do? As many of you can imagine, I want you to join my organization, Modern Military Association of America. I want you to donate to us. I want you to support us and advocate for, LGBTQ family members in their communities. However, I know some of you are deeply passionate and already hooked into so many wonderful causes. Most of them intersect with social justice, cultural change. So I wanted to empower you with 3 landmarks that you can leave here today. 1 is igniting your passion. 2 is uniting with others. And then 3 is small sparks make big flames. So number one, igniting your passion. For me, mine was policy development for the LGBTQ community. Our organization ensures that voices are heard. And currently today, the Department of Defense and Department of Homeland Security and Veteran Affairs still do not collect any data on our communities, which is a huge problem. But it's been with the support and help of like-minded individuals and allies who have fought alongside us for many years and even decades to press this issue to make sure that we come to the forefront. However, for you, your passion may not be about LGBTQ issues. You may be an animal rights activist. You may be passionate about food insecurity, financials, access to family planning. Maybe it's the Exceptional Family Member Program. Maybe it's Black Lives Matter, religious freedom, or anything else. I simply want you to make sure that you locate that spark and light it. And when you light it, be the most ethical and intentional about using that for positive impact. And this spark can start at any level. For me, I usually look at the local, state, and national levels, but they can even start in your living room, or they could go international. This is where you spend your time, money, and resources within your community. Whether it's sitting on an advisory board, running a book club, running for office, being a member of the PTA, supporting an organizational cause, voting, or simply voicing your informed opinions in places of power, those are where the spark is ignited. And if you have the privilege to sit where decisions are being made, regardless of the level, make sure it is reflective of the community that you serve. My privilege brings me many places. But I know that if there's a seat that needs to be taken by someone else for a pressing issue, I must step aside and make room. It means elevating and making space for voices that are marginalized and not heard. Sometimes it means being a disruptor, which is usually me, and turning over this made-up table, because we've all made up this idea of there's a table that we have to sit at. Just because we've always done something doesn't mean it's working. It also means wallet activism. It means spending money in places that support causes you care about. For me, specifically, this means not going to this amazing nationally branded fast food chicken restaurant that has waffle fries and lemonade, because I know they simply don't support me as a person and who I am. But if you support that organization or that chain, do it. Go there. Support them with all of your worth. Just make sure that you're making informed decisions, because your dollars vote for you every day. Number two, unite with others. Sometimes the reasons we fear others and experiences and opinions is because we simply do not know anybody from those communities or walks of life. Growing up, for me, I was really afraid of anyone who was part of the LGBTQ community, because I didn't know anyone that looked like that. First, I didn't know what to do, but I only knew what I saw online. So for me, whenever I realized I was gay, I know this is going to sound really, really silly. I know. I thought that I was going to have to cut my hair super short, wear like these baggy clothes, take up woodworking, maybe have a half-done woodworking project in my living room, drive a Subaru, and own a lot of cats. Although I'm super handy, I have one cat and I would love a Subaru. Those are simply stereotypes. And the military is the best example of putting diverse experiences and unlikely connections in the same spaces. So use those, unite with others around meaningful causes, unite with them at spouses clubs, the commissary, anywhere that you go. Create spaces, create places for you to ignite that spark and then unite. Because we know that whenever we join together, it makes meaning more impactful. Number three, small sparks make big flames. I am a policy incrementalist, which means that I think that taking small changes over time create opportunities for revolution to occur. The journey to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell started with small actions in 1993. I actually had to look back. In 1993, I was in preschool. And then 18 years later, I was serving the country in 2011. So small changes, small actions, you may think that they are small now, but they turn out to be incredibly great fires and flames, and they ignite others. Even the smallest, make the smallest decision, ignite that, then unite, and then create the biggest fire you can. So thank you so much for letting me be here. And I'm so excited. Would love any questions later on, but yes, thank you, Julie.